Arrows. That's what we're talking about today. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you about how I built the arrows I'm hunting this season with. Alrighty, here we go. But what I wanted to kind of get into today is the cost per arrow, because everybody kind of talks about, the dozen, or buying a dozen and cutting them down and working on them and doing all the things that go along with building arrows, but nobody really associates that with piece by piece cost of construction. So I'm going to go through the builds of each of these, kind of let you know what they are, what their weight is, things that matter to us bow hunters. Like I said, I went down the rabbit hole with the Ed Ashby reports and everything that kind of led me to a heavier bow, or heavier arrow build for my bow. So I'm shooting about 72 pounds. My arrow weight is about 608 grains per arrow, which I started off with the blank canvas of a gold tip Airstrike for this build. And where I started to really get into the finer things was ballistic collars, half outserts, knock collars, lighted knocks, the grains in each vein, trying to get my FOC as close to the 19-20% that I wanted. And I got pretty close. I have these are 18 grains, or these are 18% FOC, and I believe these are Hunter XTs. I'll talk about them in a minute, but I believe they are more of a middle of the road, kind of like a 12% FOC, but nothing crazy on those. But these are the ones I'm really excited about. I'm really excited. Before I went the heavy route, I left them light. I took them hog hunting, and I ended up having to shoot that hog twice. Got home, realized, maybe that wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I was close. Used a cut-on contact head. It taught me a few things. So when I come back home, I decided that what I was going to do with these was add some weight in the back of the inserts, change out the knocks and make them lighted knocks, add a little bit more point weight, and see where that got me in terms of my FOC and my total arrow weight. How to build this arrow, if you're looking to build something similar, it is a micro diameter. It's a .204 diameter shaft. It's a standard Airstrike. It's a 250 spine arrow. I got them that way because I was front loading them with weight, and anytime you add extra weight up front, you end up creating a situation where you lessen the spine of your arrow. So I I knew right then I was going to have to start with probably the stiffest shaft I could find for these arrows. So getting into this, each one of these arrow shafts is about 1660 a arrow shaft. So you can round it, it's 1667 each. So starting there, I mean, you're already, $17 a shaft. And then the ballistic collars are down here. That's what these bronze metal pieces are. They slip over the end of the half outsert. And then I have the iron wheel broadheads on the front. On the back side here with the knock, I have the knock collars that protect the end of the arrow shaft, protect the knock a little bit, as well as AAE Max Stealth vanes. And each one of these is knock tuned, the bow is paper tuned, the rest is tuned. Everything went through a very, very strict process of this build. Everything was meticulously thought out, put together, and just, it's crazy how technically sound you can get things if you labor over them. This is a very labor intensive project from start to finish. But each one of these ballistic collars down here, each one of these bad boys is $1.83 a piece. And each one of these knock collars is $1.83, $1.84 a piece. The weights that are inside, that are screwed into the back of the half outsert, they are 20 grains each, and there is 4 of them in each arrow. So 150 grain head, 20 grain insert, and then 80 grains of weight screwed in the back. So technically I have a 100 grain insert and a 150 grain head, and then this ballistic collar weighs about 10 grains. So you're looking at 100, 250, 260, 270 grains just there in the end of the arrow. This whole arrow weighs in 608 grains. These broadheads are $39 a piece. If you calculate them out to what they come out a piece in a pack of 3 from Iron Will. And then each vane is 31 cents a vane. So that comes out to 63 cents an arrow. And then you've got the nocturnal lighted nocks, and they are $9 a piece, 3-pack, 27 bucks. So just for this single arrow right here, you're looking at $74.65 in a one arrow. That's $895.80 for a dozen of these arrows built the way I built them. Some might think that is absolutely ridiculous. But when's the last time that you spent $75 and was able to put 400 pounds of meat in your house? Because I shot a hog with this arrow. Now, granted, it wasn't as heavy as it is. It was probably 510 grains when I shot the pig with it, but I added more point weight and I added another internal weight after I went hog hunting, just trying to play around and see what I liked. So when's the last time, if you can think hard on it, do the math, when's the last time you put 400 pounds of meat in your house for $74? Because if that is the sacrifice and willingness to be successful, I'm all for it. Because at the end of the day, we do this to live off the land. We do this to, be conservationists and promote the environment and try to do things the right way, if you can look at the economic side of it as well, you can't go to the store and spend $74 and buy 400 pounds of meat. That's not how that works. Now there's other costs associated with it, such as taxes or the taxes on the license, the tags, gas to get to the spot, camo. I mean, we're not talking that aspect of it. We're talking simply the tool used to harvest the animal, and this is what it is: $75, and you can reuse it as long as. I mean, here in Ohio, you're hunting out of ground. You're hunting out of tree stands, ground blinds. 90% of the time, this arrow is going to penetrate all the way through, stick in the dirt behind the deer. So that's that arrow. 100%. I haven't found anything that rivals it yet. These things fly absolutely like you're throwing javelins. So those are the Airstrikes. Like I said, some might think that price is crazy, which for some that is crazy. Now, these are more of an economical approach to building a broadhead and an arrow setup for the everyday hunter, for the everyday guy, girl, young buck, old timer, whatever you think that you might want. This arrow is going to be that for you. Now, the way that I built these arrows is I bought them bare shaft, and that's actually the way I prefer to buy all my arrows, is because I like to build them my way. So these arrows right here, they come in a pack of 6, and they're about $99 for a dozen of them. These are the Gold Tip Hunter XTs. They're 340 spine, and some might think that that's not necessarily the best hunting shaft, but I killed a doe with these 2 years ago now. Yeah, 2019. 2 years ago, I harvested a deer with these. They weren't set up the way they are right now, but you can't really do much about the way that the archery shop set my stuff up back then. I wasn't really as involved then as I am now. But these arrows, I actually built them with the consumer in mind. So you're going to spend $100 right out of the gate to get these arrows, and then once you got them, seeing how that they were bare shaft, I measured them and I cut them, and then I used the NAP Quick Fletch. Now, I did a video on this as soon as I bought these about how I thought that NAP Quick Fletch was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen in the archery community, as far as the ability to fletch your arrows quickly and efficiently without a whole lot of mess, without a whole lot of issue, and I absolutely love it. So these shafts, they have the NAP twister, which is a form of a blazer vane, and then so if you were just to put these on here without this wrap, it would be 99 cents an arrow for 3 vanes. And then these nocks, like I said, with the Airstrikes, these are $9 a piece, because you get them in a pack of 3. They run 27 bucks. So simple like that. But then you get to the business end of broadhead here, and I got a Magnus 150 grain Stinger Buzz cut on here. Now these things are nasty looking. I don't know if you can see, they got the serration on there. You know, these mean business. But for a dozen arrows with the NAP Quick Fletch and the Stinger Buzz cuts and the inserts and the knocks that are in it, you're looking at $34.98. So if you remember, this was $74. You know, you're talking $74.65 for that arrow, and then you turn around and you're looking at $34 for this arrow. So $40 less to create this arrow, which equates to about $460, $470 at the max for a dozen built exactly like this. And I got friends that I've built arrows for, and you know, I've tried to help them understand the reason why arrows are so expensive is because you get what you pay for. If you buy the quality and you want it set up to where you are going to be successful, then you have to pay for the quality. And that's just, there's no other way to say it. You can't make this up. You can't go, well, if I buy cheaper arrows, I can put better inserts, or I can buy better broadheads, or because it all goes back to the Ashby report with the 12 penetrating enhancing factors. You have to have perfect arrow flight first of all. First and foremost, that's most important. And then you have to go to structural integrity. Your arrow has to stay together if it impacts something. And then once you get to that point, now you have to go to FOC. So where this arrow gets its FOC, because this is an 8.9 grain per inch arrow, where this arrow gets its FOC is from the 150 grain broadhead and the 25 grain insert that's in it. So there's 175 grains of this arrow's weight, which is 489, I believe, 489 grains is what this arrow is running. So this is extremely light for me. Extremely light. But with a cut on contact head, and it's running about 12% FOC, this is an arrow that would be considered by many an average arrow build. This would be what anybody would take out in the woods with them and hunt with. Compared to this being something that not very many people are taking with them. This arrow being $74 to make one of, and this being $35 to make one of, you have to understand that the majority of people aren't going to take this arrow and go, yeah, give me $900 worth of arrows. They're going to go, well, if I can get by with this 500 grain arrow, then I don't need the 600 grain arrow. So it's just one of those things, is you have to find what works for your setup, what works for your bow, and you have to do it. You got kids getting off the bus here in a minute. But, yeah, so that's ultimately all I wanted to talk about in this video. And what I want to talk about in our next video is actually the bows and the way they're set up. I've talked about how I put an ultra view on one of my Trophy Ridge products, the Trophy Ridge React 1. I put an ultra view scope on. The Trio Pro that's on my Bear Status, that's going to be shooting these bad boys. It's all sighted in, ready to go for opening morning. I actually cannot wait for that to get here. And yeah, so stay tuned, get excited, because we're 39 days away. By the time this video airs, it'll probably be 38, depending on what time I get it edited and uploaded. But like and subscribe to the channel. There's a lot of people that are viewing videos that aren't subscribed. So if I post a video and you guys miss it, it's because you're not subscribed and you weren't having the notifications tell you that I uploaded the video. So do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm think that, I'm making content that y'all want to see. And stay tuned, because there's going to be more stuff coming out, and I want you all to be there with me when I do it. Thanks for coming outside. Thanks for having a conversation. And I'll see y'all in the field. God bless. Later.